Welcome everyone to Anime Aftershows, the shows where we provide high quality aftershows and discussions of your favorite anime. Today we are going to be talking Digimon episode 7 of the 2020 reboot. I'm your lovely, beautiful, good looking host Nano here, and today are my regular hosts. First, we got Adam of Azen Zone in seat number 2. From his pre-hero reviews, he's also done some Digimon Try stuff, and just is our anime trivia god. How are you doing, Adam?
Doing good, man.
Cool. And third C, who actually decided to show up today, is InfiniteDrillWorks. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Thanks for actually showing up. It's been 2 weeks, so how have your 2 weeks been?
I'm not really doing too much. I'm still looking for a job, but yeah, I'm doing fine. Holding on.
Cool. But yeah, Digimon episode 7. Okay, first week, because Drill wasn't here last week, briefly to tell us what you thought of last week's episode, Drills.
I liked the last episode. Not gonna lie.
Okay.
Let me just take a quick look at my notes here for that episode.
You actually did notes this time?
What do you mean this time? I have notes all the time.
Oh,
you.
I thought I was the only one that did notes.
No, I have some too.
Okay.
I mostly agreed with what all of you guys said about the the cons and pros, but the things that just stuck out to me during the initial watching was that first, they actually had the backstory for Mima and Palmon, which is just a-okay. And the main con for me, which again, it isn't really associated with the episode itself, but it's just getting a little bit on my nerves that a lot of the episode time is being wasted on just pointless talking. What's about to happen in the episode, what happened in the last episode. Opening and ending, of course, you can't do anything about that. But what's the point of talking about what's going to happen in the episode if we're going to watch the episode? Like, the funny thing is even that you're talking about what's going to happen in the episode. You have an opening, and then you're talking about what happened in the previous episode. Shouldn't that be the other way around? That's the thing that really bothered me about that episode. But overall, I liked it. It was fun.
I do think last week's episode got better. But how did you feel about the whole communication between the human and digital world? Because we talked about how it doesn't quite make sense how they can communicate between worlds, because the worlds are information traveling at different speeds and stuff.
I mean, Koshiro, being the genius that he is, somehow figures out that the Digivice somehow translates it between the different speeds. I don't know. I don't understand, but that's the reason. That's the reason. That's to how it works. I'm not really doubting that. That's I can't really put a counterpoint to it since it's just so weird. But they did explain it.
Kind
of their shoulders. Kind of, yeah. So they kind of have it off their shoulders now, which I guess doesn't really matter anymore. It just somehow just does it. It just works. Okay.
Because anime.
Do you know what that means?
Because anime.
Because anime.
Yeah. Anything you guys want to mention about last week's before we jump into this week's?
No, I think you guys talked about it enough last week. This
Okay.
time we got our own to do.
Okay. So let's move into episode 7. So let's talk about our pros. So I guess I'll go first. I've never really gone first with the pros,
Sure.
so I'll go first. So
Why not?
I like how the keeping with like Mimi being spoiled. Because like one of the things I was worried is it was just gonna be a thing of last week's and then never gonna show that side of her again. But no, she was still pretty spoiled, just sitting back in her chair. Palmont taking care of her. You know, I like that. So I hope we get more of that, and it does seem like they are trying to be a little bit more consistent and stuff. So the next thing I want to bring up, how did you guys feel about the Digimon of the week?
Do you mean Gomamon?
No, the monster of the big enemy they had to fight.
Gessamon.
Yeah, Getsuma.
I think it's a cool. I think it's always been a cool Digimon design for like a big technically evil Digimon.
Yeah,
Big
like
squid.
I think this is probably the best like threat we've gotten so far because it did feel like a legit challenge for them.
Yeah, I know that they had Gessamon in like the original series, but kind of forget which was he part of like the real world arc or something?
I don't remember.
Well, there you go.
But like my memory of specific events, especially like Digimon names and stuff, isn't the best. But continue.
Yeah, Gessamon has always had a bit of a cool design. Squids are kind of cool monster like even in Gamera they look kind of cool.
Yeah, and I like how like this like monster kind of ties into Gomamon because they had to get across, and I was thinking, okay, they're probably gonna use Gomamon to travel across, and I do think Gomamon does play a good like part in dealing with this threat.
Basically, they had to establish that he's the aquatic type who's best against aquatic enemies.
Yeah, and I like that. So, one thing that actually like surprised me of this episode was seeing the human world. I did not expect that. Did you guys expect that?
Oh,
In one capacity or another.
I mean, did you expect it in the extent we saw today?
not quite as much. Like, didn't expect to see Kari as much.
Yeah. I didn't expect that, and I like that. I like it seems like they're actually gonna build her up, which I think is a good thing. You know, so I hope that they keep doing that kind of thing for Kari and other characters and stuff. You know, slowly set them up and build them up. If we can see more of that, I think that will be amazing. You know. But will they? I don't know. Some of the past episodes don't show good signs. But so let's talk about Joe. First of all, how did you guys feel about Joe in the original? No. Actually, let's. Sorry, I'm brain. How do you like Joe's character? Because I liked him in this episode.
Yeah, liked him too.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just gonna say I think he needs to change careers because the way he brought down that house, he needs to go to a Mr. Universe competition or something. Not a doctor. He'd make $1 million being The Rock, the Japanese The Rock or something. Do you see that stuff? Just sumo slamming the whole thing down. Come on, man.
That was hilarious, man. I like that.
It was. I'm not gonna lie.
But yeah, I feel like I'm gravitating more towards Joe than the other characters. We see more personality from him compared to other characters. We see how like hardworking he is and the dedicated, and I think that's very admirable. You know, and that kind of goes to one of my other pros. I like how Gobelman has like confidence in Joe. You know, he may be frustrated that Joe doesn't want to help, but he still kind of wants Joe to achieve his goals. You know, and I really like that. I'm really liking the dynamic between Joe and Gobelman because we talked about last week. They have totally different personalities that kind of clash to each other, and we saw a little bit of that. Gobelman wants to help, Joe doesn't. Though, what I thought was pretty interesting, we do see Joe still kind of cares because he was watching them from that rock, which I thought was cool, and also kind of like hilarious at the same time. He's just like watching them from a distance, so that was cool. So one surprising thing that I didn't think that they were gonna do this episode with the track record is really build up the relationship between Gobelman and Joe. Gobelman was like excited to see Joe, waiting for Joe, and this is even more crazy. It almost gave me a heart attack. We got Joe flashback, and then actually, in my opinion, an actually good flashback. Like compared to the Mimi's flashback, which I didn't remember, but when I actually went back for thumbnails for clips, I was like, "Oh yeah, Adam's right. There was a Mimi flashback."
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like message you. I'm like, "Oh yeah," but yeah. Did you guys like the Joe flashback? I liked it.
I liked it.
It was better, but it was better. Just I'll talk more about it later, though.
Yeah, but yeah, I like the Joe flashback. It makes the relationship more believable. I think what makes it work for me, I know what they kind of did in the Mimi, but we actually get to see Gobelman kind of like talk about those like memories and how it meant to him and stuff, and it felt believable. You know, maybe it's because when we see that flashback of Gobelman being Joe, Gobelman's helping Joe, and the thought, just how they did, like, really worked for me personally. If they could do more flashbacks like that, like of a certain other pair who, you know, still in the digital world, and we'll talk about that in the cons, but like if they could have done that like with Izumi and Tentomon, you know. Sorry, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. You guys know I got strong opinions about that. But so Gobelman and Gobelman's evolution scene, in my opinion, is the best evolution scene of this reboot so far. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree.
It's
you mean
strong.
the Digivolution?
Like
or
the moment of him,
or the showcase of his powers. You mean like
The sequence, the Digivolution sequence.
not just like the transformation, but like the moment of him unlocking it and building up to that and stuff. So
The Digivolution sequence, I think, was strong. It was actually kind of funny the way it was leading up to it. I mean, not all of it. There was just this one moment where, you know how Joe and Gomamon were hiding behind that big rock, and Gessamon was shooting those. What were those, like ink pellets, ink balls?
pellets. Yeah, I think
Sort of like, yeah. So he was shooting them, and one of them hit the rock on the other side that Joe and Gomamon were. And you know, the rock like has all these things flying towards their direction, and Joe's like, "Are you okay, Gomamon?" And Gomamon's like, "It is your destiny to join the Digi Destiny." And I'm like, dude, you almost just got squashed by a rock. Are you okay? Like way to cut into a topic. Just take a moment to breathe. That was just really funny to me. But I think the whole package together was really good. I don't know if it's my number one spot so far, but it's good. It's a strong pick.
What do you think is your number one spot so far?
I'm not gonna lie. I like Palmon's one.
Yeah.
We haven't gone to Valmon. I'm talking about the reboot. Oh
Yeah,
no! Sorry, I thought you said Patamon.
Oh, Patamon.
No, not
But-
Patamon.
Palmon last week.
I always get Palmon's name and Patamon's names mixed up. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's kind of similar in English. But yeah, that's for me.
Cool. Did you want to add in Adam or no?
I would say maybe it's second or third for me as far as Digivolution, as far as like showcases for the champion forms, because it wasn't bad, but the animation kind of took it down for me. Like the water animations weren't the best, so I couldn't get quite as much into it.
Okay, that's me. I personally just like the build up and just the emotion with it. It did feel a lot more emotional compared to some of the other ones. Like I actually felt this Digivolution was earned.
Comparatively, yes.
Yeah, compared to some other ones, and to take a shot, Mon, which
Tentamon, you could say. Tentamon and Palmon, kind of.
Yeah. But yeah, the last pro I have is I like the scene at the end with them selling on how did you pronounce Galumon's champion form?
Ikakumon.
Ikakumon. Like I like the scene of them being on top of Kakumon selling and taking some moments to breathe and stuff. I thought that scene was pretty well done. So
yeah, it was a nice ending.
Yeah. So that were my pros. Drills. What were your pros?
As usual, I like to remind myself of this every time. Music is just spot on, man. The music, especially in this episode, was really spot on. I like that little exotic rendition of the main theme, with the whole I don't know what it's called in English, but that instrument that you usually hear in like beach themes, sea themes, whatever, the one. That was an entertaining one to listen to. So yeah, music spot on. I loved it. Voice acting was actually quite fine for me this time. Joe sounded quite good. Gomamon sounded actually quite all right. Like I wasn't expecting for him to sound so young. Is that the original voice actor?
Yep.
Or wow,
Pretty sure.
yeah, that's very surprising. Then he sounds quite well, like quite easier to get used to. And Ikakumon, that takes the cake. Ikakumon's voice, if it's the same person, really good job. Man, the moment he shot that, what was that? What was the attack called? Vulcan something? What was it?
Vulcan. Not missile, typhoon, something.
Yeah, that was great. That was just great. I loved it. It was actually really, really cool. So, anything else? Not really, to be honest. It's just in general.
Lights went on.
Okay, so Adam, if you want, go.
Yeah. By the way, I was just looking it up. The voice actress of Goemon was Naruto. That's why her voice hasn't changed so much.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't really hear any Naruto in it. That was quite surprising.
So you want me to talk about my pros?
Unless Drew has anything else he wants to add.
No, I'm done.
Okay, you can go, Adam.
Okay. All right. So the thing I liked most about this episode was just Joe in general. I just love how he's. I think I can say this, just so almost stereotypically Japanese in his personality. Like, just he's almost like that stereotype from the Family Guy episode, just like the Japanese kid who's trying to become a doctor, and he's like stressing the hell out on it, and it's been a part of his character from the very beginning. It's always been a part of his character throughout every show he's been in, be it in the original Adventure, Zero Two, and even Try. He's just like always been that guy, that anal attentive guy who's just like trying to become a doctor, and I just find it so endearing, and yet the fact that they keep it so consistent for his character, I just find great. Like he's the like as they pointed out in this episode, he is 2 years older than everyone else, so he always tries to act as kind of the de facto leader, even though we know Tai is basically the leader. But yet, he always tries to like. It's clear that he also has a bit of a sense of responsibility that he has to take care of these kids. So it's just so endearing, and I love just seeing Joe every time. I think he's one of my favorite Digidestin, really. Well,
If I could add something,
Yeah.
one thing that I forgot, I did really like the dynamic between Joe and Gomamon.
yeah.
There wasn't really
Yeah.
much to talk about, Joe and Ikakumon, right? Because they didn't share that much time together. But Joe and Gomamon, I really, really love their dynamic. It was
Yeah,
really, really
yeah, I did too. I do think they are the strongest duo right now.
Because they have the most personality so far.
Yeah. So, yeah. Did you have any more pros, Adam?
Nothing much that we haven't gone over already.
Okay. So, let's get into our cons. So, did you want to do your cons first, Drills?
I'll let Adam go. I'm kind of interested to hear what he has.
Okay. We're going back to Adam then.
Okay, not so much with the episode itself, but just the series in general. This has become a pattern with all of these episodes. Have you noticed it? Just they meet the new kid. He does it. They refuse the Call of Duty at first, and then the Digimon partner convinces them to join. Then they have like a flashback sequence, and then he joins in. The champion shows off its abilities. They defeat a random bad guy, and end of the episode.
Yeah, but like
it's like freaking clockwork.
But like Digimon has always kind of have patterns like that. Not this like exact pattern, but of them having some kind of mission objective problem.
But this is the same mission and objective every week so far, almost.
Yeah.
I'd say almost every week, with the exception of Sora, who's just 100% into it without any rhyme or reason.
Yeah, Sora might be a bit of a sociopath in that case.
So.
But yeah, it just felt almost too similar to at least to the Palmon episode from last week. Like, I do think Joe had probably the best overall sequence and everything, but like, I think he didn't have the best fight this week, I would say, but his sequence and his bond with Gomamon at least felt the most organic of this team so far.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just noticing the patterns. It's getting a little tiresome.
Well, it's still kind of the opening sequence, so maybe it'll change in the future once they're all introduced.
The real world scenes I liked, but I'm also a little bit confused by how exactly it works. So there's power outages going all over Japan, and yet they still are able to do news reports and everything, and it just randomly goes out sometimes. That's just like, so what's exactly the rules of these power outages? Like, I've had big power outages here in Hawaii, so I'm I'm like, it's either all or nothing, really.
But maybe Kari's different since she doesn't. Maybe things that are close to her are still.
So the TV studios are still going to work because of it.
I
Maybe.
think I think what they said at the beginning is that the whole of Tokyo is going to get, in a massive blackout, kind of gradually as it goes on. Now, the thing that, at least how they showed it in the maps, in the real world sequences, is that it wasn't like one area gets a blackout and then anything around it, and then so on and so forth. It's actually just random areas in the city that gets blackouts, and it just goes in random locations. I think the thing is that the internet ports and computers are still working because of the connection, because of the issue coming from the digital world. Well, not digital world, but the net, the connection between both worlds. Because it's originating from there, I think they explain it that way, that's why some computers, even though the power is out, computers and internet is still going. But yeah, even in oh yeah, that's also something they didn't quite explain, is that if a blackout happens, does it come back and then goes off again? Because we're not sure if we just saw Ty's home, suddenly getting a blackout, because we did see a blackout, but we don't know if it's like the whole area.
Plus, it was like only like the kitchen, and yet the television was still going.
Yeah,
that was weird. Like, is it because of Kari that they still have television power? Then okay.
yeah, it's not 100% consistent, so I can't really say very confidently what the rules are. I'm just like trying to remember what he said in the show.
And then I guess my last little complaint was just pointless cultural appearance again.
Yeah, like he barely. I don't. He didn't even like talk to our group at all, right?
Nope, he was just like, still going this way. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, thanks. See you next week.
Yeah, it was more just to remind us that he's
That
there.
he lives, they exist.
Yeah. So.
Wait a minute. Koshiro appeared in this episode?
See?
Wait, when?
Like, see? That's the same thing with, like, that's the same thing happened with it's the Palmon flashback all over again.
Yeah, that's what happened to me last week. I forget the exact scene, but it might have been like before or after the real world thing. I can't remember.
Yeah, either around the time of Kari's scene, and he's like, yep, things are still messed up. That's my contribution for this week. Just gotta ride on my big bug all the way there.
Yeah, I see it now. I totally forgot. It was that insignificant. I'm so sorry.
If you're not gonna do anything with him, just skip him this week and give more time to join Goemon if that's all he's gonna contribute.
Man, is traffic that bad in the network? I mean, is he using dial up or something?
I mean, damn, they have smartphones. They can't be using they can't be using kilobits or whatever. Like, what was it, 52? They have to at least have a few mags of download or upload.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's
specifics we're going into.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Drills. You want to go?
Sure. And now that you reminded me, what the hell was the point of Koshiro in this episode? Like that's just like I don't want to say it to any Koshiro stands or whatever, but like that's just wasted time. Okay, well, it's not 100% wasted time. I mean, it kind of ties into how Hikari sees it in the TV from her perspective, and then kind of jumping into Koshiro's perspective, because he was always kind of this mediator between both worlds. But if he at least had some contact, like he usually does with through the Digivice, to get introduced to Joe and Goemon / Ikakumon, that would have been, a little bit better. But I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird. I don't know what to say. Anything else? I do agree that Gesomon is a really cool design for a evil Digimon.
Hell yeah.
I think one of the things that I kind of had a problem with Gesomon is that maybe you could argue this with me. I mean, you probably could argue this with me, but I feel like it was kind of lacking in character, sort of.
Yeah, now that you mention it, at least some of the other villains they fought in some of the past episodes kind of had more personality. This one, not really. It was just a threat they had to deal with.
So it's I'm thinking the immediate thing I compare it to is the whole thing that happened when they were defending, or no, not even when they were defending the Tanemon kingdom, but when they were attacked at a temple, and then all these Digimon that were being controlled by Soundbirdmon started attacking them. So they were under control. They were being controlled. So they couldn't really do anything that shows kind of their own personality or anything, which makes sense. But with Gesomon, he looks kind of badass. He's big. He's as big as an evolved Digimon, kind of like how that Narwhal was when they crossed the river.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just felt like it was kind of lacking in personality or character, whatever it is, whatever the term you want to use for that. That was another thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else really. I think it was an even better episode than last time. So I really, really, really like it.
Yeah, I do think it's the best episode we have gotten so far. So I think we're slowly getting some improvements. So is that all your cons, Drills?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Me, I really don't have cons. I really like this episode. The cons I do have are no Izumi. What was the point? Come on, guys. Drills even forgot about that scene.
I'm sorry.
And I guess that's another con we could kind of add. There's just some forgettable moments in this series, in general, the Izumi here, the Mimi flashback last episode, So and I just felt like there was very little overall plot development. Yes, they elect a new crew member and going to the next place, but I don't know. It didn't feel like much was developing, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, in this case, at least we got development for Joe, which
it's we got character development, but not overall story development, I guess is what I'm saying.
But, yeah, that's true.
It could take us a while to get to those holy Digimon or whatever.
Though, yeah, but the past pacing probably could use maybe a couple more rewrites, a little more improvement, but it was good for the most part. But in some areas, it could have been better, cut out stuff that didn't be needed. Maybe a couple more scenes with Joe and Gabumon, a couple more flashbacks would have been cool.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing, I feel like, and this is more of what I want versus more than what it actually is, so it might not be a good thing, but I feel like this episode would have been better if it was just a Joe and Gabumon. Take out Taichi and them and just have them like 85, 90%, maybe even 95% of the episodes just be Joe and Gobon interacting, exploring together. You know, I think that would be like way better. But then again, it's more of what I want versus what that episode actually was. So
I think in Joe's case, he kind of needs the younger kids to be around him so that he can be remember, his quest is supposed to be he's supposed to symbolize reliability, so he needs other people around him to be reliable too.
You know, I think what you said would have been a really good idea, to be honest. Just start the episode with him meeting Gomamon, and then from his perspective, meeting everybody. Like having him, of course, he was the main character for the episode. He was the focus. But if we would know him and how he encountered Gomamon from the beginning, and then went into the whole introduction with the group, just like how this episode went out, but instead of us focusing on the group and then meeting Joe, it would be Joe meeting the group. I think that would be a really cool way to approach it. So I kind of like your idea, Nano.
yeah, I like that's one of my problems. I would wish the episode would do it that way instead of just like characters just kind of showing up, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but like then again, it's more of a thing. What we wanted, we should like probably view and base the show for what it is versus what we want, you know. But I can't help but you know. But yeah, those were my cons. So we are going to be adding to our general discussion. So I guess a couple of general things I want to talk about. So as we're getting through more like episodes, do you guys think COVID has played an effect, or do you think it's just like bad writing? With the issues with the issues we have had so far and stuff.
I think a lot of this was planned out from the beginning, just the meeting of the kids. Like I think this was structured so that they would just meet him like this, because to meet him like this. So I don't think COVID really had that much of an effect on it. Maybe it's had an effect on production a little bit, but actual writing, I wouldn't say. I would say probably no.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to agree. The pattern is just too, pattern just goes all too well for it to be, anything but the writing. This was planned from the beginning. Sure, again, like Adam said, COVID might have had its impact on the all the progress of the animation and whatnot. But no, this was planned from the beginning.
Yeah. Well, hopefully planned from the beginning and not just making shit up as they go. You know.
Oh yeah, of course.
Hopefully.
That might be coming up for all we know, so let's not jinx it.
Yeah. But so I. Are you still there, Drills?
Hey, I'm here. Just had to sneeze.
Oh. You think like.
Yeah, it's okay.
Messed up with the webcam. For whatever reason, it put like Adam's camera in your thing.
Yeah, it's okay.
That was kind of funny. But so I mentioned this before we started the show. So I don't know how accurate this is. So take this with like a grain of salt. I have to look more into it. But I watched like a video and they like mentioned that. Digimon Adventure 2020 plans to at least go for years, so that could potentially mean we get a 50 episode season. How do you guys feel about that? Do you think that's likely?
I mean, I don't know about a season per se. If it was a season, you'd have another season. Whole year? I don't think that's going to be a season. I think that's going to be the show. But regarding the length of it, considering how they're taking their time introducing each member of the Digidestined, one by one, essentially just putting an entire episode for it, which is, honestly not bad. I think there is a chance that we'll have a whole year of Digimon.
Yeah. Because I know, like, before you said, oh, this is only going to be like 26 or something episodes.
Well, I didn't say it as a fact. I didn't really. I strongly believed it because having a show that goes on for a whole year is very unpopular at this current,
There are exceptions to the rule. Digimon
True.
is one of those exceptions.
Well, not at the moment. It will be an exception when it will reach that 50 episode mark.
Digimon has always been like the 50 episode, and if we also want to include the Digimon like spin-off, Appai, goddamn it, phone, Appai Monsters, which I think came out a couple years ago. That was even like 50 episodes.
Yeah, but we're still talking about this show. In this climate
but I'm still using it as an example.
No, yeah, but I'm talking about the current climate, not the one before where the original aired. Yeah, there were a lot of shows like that.
I wasn't even talking about the original. I was talking about like Appai Monsters, which wasn't that long ago. It was only like a couple years ago, and even that was 50 episodes. I'm just saying that the Digimon series in general has always been roughly 50 episodes.
That's an exception. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We still don't know about this one, but the way it's going, I'm starting to think that we may have actually 52 episodes of Digimon.
Yes,
definitely be a possibility.
Yeah, and I think like 52 episodes could help. I don't know. Do you think it's better to have like a shorter Digimon like series season or like a longer one? Do you guys think?
Adam?
I would say it helps because we haven't seen I don't think. Yeah, as far as I can remember, at least the original three seasons didn't have all went for a whole year. So I can't really I don't have anything to really compare it against. So yeah, I would say it helps.
Yeah. Again, it's just like I said before. It's like the way the show goes, the way it's going right now, it will definitely help if it goes on for as long, well, not as long as possible, but definitely for a longer format than 20
and I think a longer format could give us hope because it'll give them more time to give the show more time to hopefully get better and be good, because right now it's okay, like, like, I don't know, did you guys feel like a lot of our problems were comparing it to the original? At least for me. In my head, I feel like that's part of my issue. I should just kind of view it as a standalone, but it's really hard.
Because it keeps trying to emulate the original.
Yeah, like it's trying to do what the original did, just be different, and different is okay, but be good different, not bad different,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's trying some new stuff, but like the new stuff just doesn't work or doesn't make sense.
No, yeah, I feel you. Nostalgia is definitely not even nostalgia. It's like when you have one product and then you have a reboot of it, or a re-release that's getting changed in some way. Of course, you're gonna compare it because it's basically the same thing. So, it makes sense to compare. But when you take things too far, or unfortunately, if it's justified to compare a lot of stuff, that's where the problem lies. So, One, it's either the reboot itself that's not being handled properly, or two, it's in the eyes of the beholder. Maybe they just have a very, very strong connection to the original, and sometimes it can be a little hampering in trying to be objective about something
Yeah.
or about a reboot.
Yeah. Or do you think like the writers have like a good story they're trying to tell, and Toys game is, corporate toys meddling too much, maybe?
Wouldn't put past them.
I knew you would have a reaction with your toy experience.
Because that's what they do.
Yeah, but like maybe there's a vision of this we're not seeing. I'm hoping, like I hope they surprise us, and like at the end of this, we can be like, oh, this was an amazing series, and if it's really good, we can be like, oh, this is better than the original. I don't think that's gonna happen, but if it can at least come close to the original, I think I'll be satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it will definitely depend on which group of viewers you will ask. Because if you will ask people who watched the original and are watching this reboot now, this could go either way. If you ask new people to the franchise who are watching this anime, again, this could go either way. But each group will most likely go in one of two directions. For the old people, it'll probably be that they will be very nostalgic about the original. For new people, while again it's not set in stone or anything, they could be more objective about it because that's their first time seeing anything Digimon. So they could like it, they could be interested in the original, but I think they most likely will just stick with this show. So they will stick with this. They either like it or don't like it.
Yeah. Like I keep saying this. I'd be so curious to hear like an opinion from someone who's never seen Digimon, and this is the first like Digimon series. As everyone I talk to that's watching Digimon Adventure 2020, has either like grown up with the original Digimon Adventure or has seen another Digimon season. So I'm curious for newcomers, because the point of a reboot is to get like new fans into the franchise. At least from my perspective. Besides, of course, making money. But in order to make money, you also do need to appeal to people besides just fans, Especially since, like, over the years, Digimon has kind of died out, though, like, the popularity of it has, I do think, has gotten better, especially with some of the, like, recent Digimon games. So,
I think that the word reboot is kind of a sensitive word in the sense that, like, when you're talking about it kind of depends on the medium that you're tackling when you talk about a reboot. Because I think one good example that you could take, for example, is the God of War reboot, for example, which took a
I
very
thought that technically wasn't a reboot. Doesn't it just take like years and years later after?
Oh no.
No.
Also very no.
I'm not like a huge God of War, so I don't know about the timeline and stuff. So
That's fine. I'll give you like the gist of it.
okay.
So they took a very well recognized and very beloved formula and they changed it quite a bit. So it's just a completely different formula. It has some of the characters that well, not some, one. Obviously you know who it is. But it's a whole new setting. It's a whole new pantheon. It's a whole new system of gameplay and gameplay style. So that would be a reboot. Otherwise, if it was just like Digimon right now, it would be called a remaster. But when we're talking about this Digimon show, because it's adding scenes that are animated differently and with better quality, better, which being subjective, reboot is kind of a loose term, I guess you would say.
like I wouldn't call this a remaster. A remaster would just be them upgrading the like original to HD and maybe upscaling some stuff, you know.
Pretty much like Dragon Ball Kai. Dragon Ball Kai did to Dragon Ball. That's a remaster.
Yeah, yeah.
So this isn't exactly a remaster. Sure, it's a reboot, but it's, not
following a lot of the old story beats, like
Yeah.
pretty much.
I mean, they all like join. I think a lot of like original ideas that the original didn't have. So I think you can still classify a reboot because like the whole network stuff wasn't in the original series. It wasn't like our war game and stuff, but not to like this extent, you know.
True.
But our first major arc villain is going to be Devimon again.
Yeah, so I wonder how they're gonna do him and how long it's gonna take. Because I've actually been watching a couple episodes of the original, and I didn't realize like when the Devimon I think like finished that arc around like episode 15 and stuff. So.
Mm-hmm.
So, how long is it gonna take for us to get Devimon in this like reboot? You know,
Hard to say. Like he's only made one appearance so far.
Wait, has he even made an appearance?
In the shadows, in like I think a couple weeks ago.
Okay,
he did.
Not like a full blown appearance though. So.
Not technically.
Yeah. So. But we'll see how this like reboot goes. So, did you guys want to talk about next week then?
I just wanted to say something real quick.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get into my anime page of my anime list page of Digimon Adventure 2020, because we were talking about this whole difference in perspective between all the people who are already in the franchise or already watched the original and then people who are new to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that honestly, if you want to get the best approximate of what people think of it, that's just gonna be my anime list. Sure, my anime list has never been, the go-to critic place for anime critics, but it does have the the common people's ratings, which is important nonetheless. Mm-hmm. Hell, you saw what happened with the Shizuoka reviewers just about, what was it, early this year?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where it shot up to like in first place or second place at the animus
because of the
rating.
Streisand effect.
Because of the what?
Streisand effect. It's when you try to hide something, it ends up getting that thing a lot more attention than they originally would have originally would have ever gotten.
Yeah, good job, Funimation.
Yep, they fucked up hard on that one. But yeah, sure. It's not it's not the best place if you're looking for a very critical opinion about the show, but it is the ratings that the people give it. And so it just went up. So currently it has a rating of 7.13, which is honestly not bad at all.
Yeah, it's slightly above average.
Oh yeah.
Which is
sure, it only has like 5,000 ratings.
Which is how I feel about it right now. So, like if I would have to rate, I'd even give it like a 7 or an 8.
I'd probably give it like a 6 right now.
6, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe yeah. Continue.
So like currently it has a 7.13. Sure, it only has like 5,000 reviews or ratings, but that's still not that bad for a new show. That's again, it's a new show, right? So it's like a new show that's being brought back from the past, and maybe not a lot of people know about it yet because Digimon has been kind of overshadowed by a lot of different franchises for example, Pokemon, even Bakugan, and other things like that. Even Yu-Gi-Oh, I think, kind of overshadowed it because they're all kind of feel a little bit similar
Yeah.
with the whole interaction between monsters and humans. Even if it's just monsters within cards, it's just their holograms, or at some points real manifestations of the monster.
Mhm.
So Digimon was kind of a little bit overshadowed by all these different franchises, and I think it's ratings wise, I think it's doing terrific. I think it's getting a lot of exposure right now, and that could maybe help like bring about a I don't know, like a Digimon boom or something that will help propel it forward to even more success.
Maybe a Digimon multiverse series or something.
You mean like that
Maybe
other one that we don't like to talk about?
Like the what?
Like that other one we don't like to talk about that doesn't exist?
Oh.
Yeah.
You, I mean, the last couple episodes were cool-ish. Had some cool fan service, but yeah. I hope we're talking about the right series, right?
Who knows?
Don't worry, you don't take a shot if you say it's.
But yeah. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
I think one thing that can also be mentioned is that they've already showed us that they have the prowess when it comes to animation, want to, and when they feel it's appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe later on in the show we're gonna have some more awesome combat scenes and whatever, which I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for.
Yeah. So I think we can get into predictions for next week, episode 8, right?
Yeah.
So Drills, what do you did watch the preview of episode 8, right?
I kind of did. For once, I usually don't even watch those. Like as soon as the ending plays out, I just skip a little bit forward to see if there's like any post credits dialogue or anything.
Okay.
A lot of shows like to do recently, but there wasn't. And we saw who's gonna appear in the next episode. So there's not gonna be a lot of very prediction.
I mean,
Yeah, no, at least no pattern next week.
yeah. So did you watch the whole preview or did you just skim through it?
I just watched like a half a second.
Oh, okay.
But that was enough.
Okay.
Yeah. Know that it's not going to be another introduction episode, at least.
Okay. So
At least not full blown one.
guess I'll kind of go first, I guess. So so I think, because based on the subtitles and stuff and how they were talking, I think everyone besides our 6 rangers, that everyone's going to come together. Because
Seems like it.
that's kind of how they worded it in the subtitles. So hopefully we're gonna finally see Izumi in the digital world. If we don't, I don't know. I'm probably gonna rage quit or something. But it does seem like we're going to be getting Izumi and everyone come together. But that kind of has me concerned then, because they also have to because we haven't got that much of like a map focused episode. So is next week's gonna be a map focused episode, or is it gonna be everyone coming together? So that kind of has me worried, because it also seems like they're gonna be finding out some more stuff about digital prophecies and stuff, and because it kind of looks like they're finally making it to the Holy Land or whatever place they have to go to. I'm not quite sure, but that's what it looks like. So I don't know. I feel like next week's they're gonna jam too much into it. Are you guys concerned about that?
Not really.
If they at least cut down on the recap, maybe they'll have a lot more time. That'd be nice. At this point, they may as well just cut the recap. That I think at this point we've established the main team, and the 6 Rangers will join later.
Yeah. So hopefully they can.
Because their Digimon, I think the reason they're being called off is because I think they recognize that their Digimon are like really OP against Devimon.
Yeah. But so I think like next week is going to be the week when the show's really gonna start picking up. It does seem like that. Do you guys feel that or no?
No. I feel like next week is gonna be Matt's or Yamato's introduction to the group, and because he's a loner or an edgy loner, he's gonna have a little bit of a problem with that. So the episode is probably gonna be focused on him having to get used to the group, and probably, well, not probably, but maybe actually grouping up with them. But if just like you mentioned, Nano, how they worded it in the subtitles, if the entire group is actually going to be finally together, then that means that Koshiro will finally be back and relevant.
Yay! Please let that.
About time, yeah.
Like,
give that a clap or two.
Because I actually have really liked Izumi in this like reboot and stuff. They did some cool stuff, but right when they got to the digital world, that's when that kind of stuff stopped. So I want to get back to some cool Izumi stuff, because I miss that.
So with Koshiro always being introduced to almost everybody besides at the moment Joe through the Digivice, he doesn't really need an introduction again to everybody. I mean, sure, he may need an introduction in person, but I think first things are already out of the way. Like, Koshiro really doesn't need another focus on him at the moment, when kind of a new character comes in, gets an introduction, gets an episode focused on them. Koshiro doesn't need that. He had 3 episodes to start with Taichi. I think he's good on that. Sure, he may be a little bit on the side. Well, not a little bit. He may be in the sidelines at the moment, but he knows most of the Digidestined. He knows Yamato, so he's not going to need an introduction to him. So Yamato, I think, like I said earlier, is going to be focused on him, getting introduced to the group, and then is when the story will start picking up. So the group is finally together. They're hopefully all on board to find the Holy Digimon. And, yeah.
But once...
Not next week, 2 weeks.
I'm not saying the whole episode's gonna stop, but, like, from here onward, I feel like we're gonna start pushing, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Like, the pace is going to pick up a little bit?
Yeah, and we're...
I mean, I think it picked up a little bit this week.
Yeah, and we're actually going somewhere. Because I feel like one of the biggest problems was the whole group not being together. I get what they're trying to do and stuff, but like I feel like it would be better maybe have different groups. Maybe have a group with Sora and Tai, and maybe Joe and Mimi. And maybe like Izumi and like Matt just be in separate groups.
No, I don't know. I think that would be deviating too much from the original plot. I don't think they should have went with that.
I mean, in the original, there was a time when they had different groups.
Yeah, that was after Tai was sent to the real world.
No, there was even when Devimon separated them, remember?
Yeah, but that was like for 1 episode each, I think.
Yeah.
Or wait, oh, yeah, but that was the Devimon thing was a bit of a ways away anyway, so.
Yeah.
There were episodes when they were split apart. That's true.
Yeah.
But I think that at the current spot, the current point of the plot, I don't think they should be split apart.
Okay. Okay. That's that is fair. But yeah, I think we are finally going somewhere with the series. So I think in the next couple episodes, hopefully we can start thinking a bit more positive about this, and maybe I can finally recommend it to my friend. Hopefully. That's how I want to feel at the end. Just be able to recommend it to Bree, you know. But
Say that once we reach almost the 10th episode, it gets better. We're almost to like the 10, so
yeah. Oh yeah. That's because if you recommend it, you gotta also recommend it as a whole. So. I don't know. Maybe just go watch the original first and then watch the reboot. But not, I don't know. That defeats the whole point of the reboot, though.
I don't know.
Because, like I said before, I feel like one of the main points of a reboot is to get new people into it.
yeah.
And if it's not able to appeal to a new audience, I feel like it's kind of failing as a reboot, you know? Do you agree with me, Drills? Because it feels like you don't.
I don't know. I'm kind of mulling over it, to be honest. I think like there's a couple of points that you can just tackle in this question.
Well,
Because I feel like a remaster could also just be sort of fan service for, it could be just, really just fan service for the fans. I mean, well, obviously in the name, along with being an avenue for new people to join the fandom. I just don't know what they were really going for with this specific reboot. Was it more for fun, for the already existing fandom, or was it to pull new people into it? I don't really know what they're going for. I thought they were going, for getting new people, but I'm not really sure at the moment. I'm really not sure. Honestly, about what you said, if you feel like the remaster is not that good, honestly, just don't recommend it. Just tell her to watch the original one. There's nothing bad about it. I think an example that I can give about this kind of thing is about Full Metal Alchemist. I don't know if you've watched it, but there was the original show that aired around 2003, which overall wasn't really that good and didn't really follow the manga too
Because the
much.
manga wasn't finished at the time.
True. And then they just chose to deviate from it instead of just waiting. I mean, maybe they couldn't wait like Naruto. They just did like 100 episodes of fillers. But then you had Brotherhood, which is considered pretty much a masterpiece and a must-watch for anybody trying to get into anime, and anybody who watches anime must at least watch that. So the comparison here is that Brotherhood, I 100% agree, is a much better show than the original Full Metal Alchemist. But I will fight anyone who tells you not to watch the original, because to me, the original had a feeling of red, a tone of dark in it that Brotherhood didn't have. That really, really amplified the ideas of the show and the horror that they go through, and some of the plot points.
Some of the icky stuff.
Yeah, exactly. The tone of the original show, especially in the animation, really amplifies that dark element of some of the stuff they're going through. And I would fight anybody who would tell me they shouldn't watch that show. Maybe don't watch it completely, but at least watch most of it, because you're missing out. And then, maybe watch Brotherhood first. I don't care. Just watch the original Full Metal Alchemist. It has its good points, even if there's not a lot of them. Even if they're being overshadowed by bad points. there's still some worthwhile time to. So that's like a comparison.
I think the difference there is like the newer version is actually pretty good versus here the newer version isn't quite. You know?
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite almost.
Yeah, that's kind of true. When you do mention that.
Yeah. So. Oh.
So yeah.
What were we even talking about?
Whether or not you should show your friend.
Oh yeah. But we were talking about predictions and stuff, right?
Yeah. Predictions about next week.
Yeah. Anything you guys want to add on predictions?
Nothing much else.
Yeah, I like I said, I just want to be able to recommend this to people, get more Digimon fans in, because though I do think it has gotten better, but like I do think like Digimon has been easily dismissed. Do you guys feel that?
I think it's been overlooked because it
has Mon in the name.
That and it's a little bit more serial. It's a much more serialized show than some other shows from its time. I think that's why it was a little bit inaccessible for some.
Because it has like an overarching story to kind of. I know we make this. I kind of made this comparison a little bit before, but to kind of compare it to Toei's other show, Precure, I've tried to get friends to get into Precure, one in particular, but he's been like hesitant because it's such like a daunting series because of how much seasons. But I'm like, you can start like anywhere, but he's like that's not how I work. A lot of people do like starting from the beginning. So I feel like it's similar thing with Digimon, just not to that extent, because of the different, because of how like story driven and story driven and how many like different seasons / series they are. Those like Dreamers, Frontier, Savers. There's like around like 6 or 7 different series. 8 if you account the sequels as their own. I might be miscounting, but
it has a lot of shows.
Yeah. Not 9 if you count the.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that you can't just jump into this show, into any season, just like in the middle of it, like other episodic shows.
Yeah, because I do feel like sometimes people just kind of get into a show by TV browsing and stuff like that. Be like, oh, this is on. Let me watch that. So,
that's why people gravitate towards Pokemon a lot, because they could just have watched any episode and they would be able to follow along. Okay.
Yeah, though I personally prefer more story structure shows, but
sure,
they are more of a commitment though. So,
I feel like about this aspect of Digimon being overshadowed because it's a show of its caliber that's really hard to pick up. Well, not really hard. Isn't recommended to just jump in the middle and try to pick it up. And then it's comparison to Precure. Like, fill me in about this. But Precure is how old as a franchise?
Didn't it start like early 2000s, Adam?
2004.
Okay, and how many seasons have we had? Like, I
one
know
every year, so 16 series.
Okay, 16.
Okay. First of all, not bad at all.
Yeah.
So Digimon technically started earlier, right?
Yeah.
But there's been like long periods of not having a Digimon season. They haven't had a season every year. That's like the difference with.
That's true. I think the comparison here isn't really fair because, well, I might be completely wrong. Do point it out if I'm wrong. But I feel like Digimon had a tougher competition in its genre than Precure. Precure kind of, it's a magical girl show, right?
Yeah, it didn't have much competition.
Like-
Sailor Moon was done, and its previous show, Doremi, it was replacing another magical girl show at the time.
But
So it had no real competition.
Same company, and like Pretty Cute is the only long running magical girl versus Digimon. There is another long running monster show.
Or just shonen in general. It's had tons of competition.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again,
and
just
if
Pokemon.
you want to give you more specific, long running children's anime.
Not even long running, to be honest. Just children's anime.
Well, Pretty Cute is a children's anime. It has a specific.
But that's a different genre. That's
demographic.
Demographic too. So.
Yeah.
I don't think Precure is a good comparison. I think if we're talking about Digimon, we have to talk about more shonen or young, or even young male focused.
So the point I was trying to make, and I'm sorry if I'm not specifying that point, is since Digimon has multiple seasons, it's harder to get into. Because there are, even though each season is self-contained, it's harder to get in because there are a lot of people who like to start from the beginning. And it can seem taunting. That's the point I was kind of trying to make.
Well, it's comparable,
Yeah.
If you're told, if people can get into One Piece from the beginning, and just go through that, they can get into anything.
Yeah,
and
though at least like One Piece, you have like a manga you can just quickly read. Because I depending on your
define quickly.
Depending on your read speed, some people can read faster than we're watching an anime.
That's true. Yeah, you are kind of caged in an anime. You're kind of caged to those 20 something minutes. That's true. The thing I was trying to say is that I guess another thing that you could compare it to is JoJo's. JoJo's has multiple parts, and whenever people they have this really weird question, it's like, what part should I start reading JoJo's from? Like, I heard a lot of things about part 3, and I'm like, part 1. Like, you don't start a show from its middle point. You start a show at its beginning. It's the same with Digimon.
Yeah,
if you can, go ahead.
Right, sorry. You can't do Diamond Dust Crusaders without at least knowing about Dio's origins.
Exactly. So, Digimon, while it's not as tightly very chronologic like JoJo's is, it's still there are appearances from the first part and the second part, and so on and so forth. So you definitely should start from the first one. If you can, not even One Piece. If you can watch JoJo's, which is even more contained than that with a hell of a lot less episodes, you can watch Digimon. It's just a tiny bit more episodes per season. You can watch that. Just go to the first part, enjoy yourself. It's a really cool show. Again, true, it is kind of weird to get into it, trying from the middle. Obviously, that's not how it's meant to be. but yeah, just obviously just watching it from the start.
Yeah. So, any other things you guys want to add?
Yeah.
So yeah, let's hope for a good episode next week. Hopefully. Hopefully. Please, Digimon sovereigns. I forget their names.
That's right there.
Toei.
Please, Toei. Please. We know you can make good shows, right? When you want to,
when you don't have Shirokura involved.
Who was that again?
You don't want to know.
I like how both of you know who he is, and I like have no clue.
Don't worry. It's not important.
You're better off not knowing.
Pretty much.
Okay. But yeah, we are wrapping. We are going to wrap this up. Thank you guys for watching the show, and this has been Anime Aftershows. We provide high quality aftershows of your favorite animes. I have been your host Nanohero. You can follow me at the real Nanohero and at twitch.tv/Nanohero. Our other host for today's episode has featured Adam from Azen Zone. Check him out at Adam Kiyosaki and at youtube.com/user/AzenON. And check out InfiniteDrillWorks. Check him out at Infinite Drills. Anime Aftershows is created, owned, and planned by me, Nanohero. You can follow me at The Real Nanohero. Our intro and outro music is done by Xavier Salvador. Make sure you check out other brands and channels, including Nano's Indie Cafe. More info is in the description. Make sure to also follow us on social media at Anime Aftershows. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, like, and ring that bell. Also, check out the link below to listen to the audio version. If you are listening to said audio version, make sure to follow or subscribe, download, and leave us a rating. If you haven't already found Anime Aftershows on YouTube, make sure you do so. And we will see you guys in the next Anime Aftershows.